there's so many things that could drag our hearts in the mud. The news, just so many things. It is a work of constant awareness to stay motivated and to stay positive. And we don't always stay there, but knowing that's the goal is good. So how do I do it? I work at it. I've had to work at it. I've been on the other side of that, and it doesn't feel very good. I like it over here a lot better. So I'm working to stay right here.
So today is April 18th, 2023. Who are we speaking with?
This is Divinity.
What is your intention when you sing?
Oh, what a great first question. My intention when I sing is to heal the listener, heal myself. That is what I've learned over the years, that is a big part of what my music entails. It's a lot of joy, but there's also a lot of healing. There's a lot of, let's see. I think I speak a lot about being intentional. I'm intentional about being intentional in my music. I talk a lot about thinking about where you are in your life and how you are in your life and what you would like to do moving forward. So I think I'm intentional when it comes to being intentional with my singing.
I love that. And then tell me about, how did you come up with the name Divinity?
You know, I don't think I actually came up with it. And I can't remember the exact story. I know that it had to do with Piranha Head and Minx, and the fact that I was just such a nurturing force in our relationship. So initially, it was Mama Divinity, and I was going to be their management. So I even have business cards for Mama Divinity Management. So eventually, I dropped the Mama part and dropped the management part, at least from my title, and just stuck with Divinity. And I just think it just kind of rang true, and I hung on to it.
You're originally from, actually, well, we'll get back to that. Let's go to, where were you born and where did you grow up?
Born and raised, grew up, still live in the city of Detroit, Michigan. Born and raised.
And then tell us about the kind of music you heard in the house growing up as a child.
Yeah, I talked about this recently on social media. I was surrounded by all different kinds of music growing up. I learned to play violin at a very young age. My parents were very intentional about us having musical backgrounds. So all of my siblings learned and played some type of instrument. I came from a very musical family. My dad wanted to, he pursued a professional career as a jazz saxophone player. My mom was very active in the church choir. My sisters and brothers are very active in church. So there was a lot of gospel. There was also a lot of jazz from my dad. And like I said, I learned to play violin at a very young age. So there was a lot of classical music as well, as I was playing with different youth orchestras in the city when I was growing up. So anything from Handel's Messiah to some Pink Floyd for my brother, to some Ella Fitzgerald for my dad, to, you know, some classic gospel music as well, just all over the spectrum. And then living in the city of Detroit, you know, you have the Motown sound and the music of Motown, and then disco, everything. I listened to and loved everything, and had access to it. You know, there's I remember getting dressed in the morning. This is what I talked about on social media, listening to the Beatles in the morning with my mom on the radio with a local host here. Those are very fond memories of me growing up. And then I remember my brother playing his albums with Parliament Funkadelic and Chicago and Steely Dan and those Commodores and all of those kind of groups too. So just across the gamut, and I'm grateful for it. That's definitely made me who I am in a lot of different ways.
And then tell us the transition from being a music appreciation person or appreciator of music to being performing.
I don't know that there was really a distinction, or there wasn't a kind of an evolution. It was all kind of one thing. As I remember, just, recitals and things from playing the violin so young. I learned to play the violin with the Suzuki method. And so that is a method where the parent basically kind of learns and teaches the child. I was like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years old when I started learning the violin. So from that age, you're already practicing with recitals and that kind of thing. So performance was, now that I'm really thinking about it, I guess I have been performing for many, many, many years, not vocally, but definitely on stage. Yeah. So there wasn't much of a transition. As I'm reflecting, that was a great question. It made me think about some things in a different way. I guess I've always been performing, just with an instrument other than my voice for a while.
And then tell us about your journey discovering underground clubhouse techno music.
I don't remember where I heard it first, house music, that is. Probably, I almost want to say with disco on the radio, and then it kind of led me to the house music thing. I know that one of my very close friends in high school is DJ Terrence Parker, who's played all around the world. Well, we were in high school at about the same time. He's like a year or so older than me. And Terrence was one of my very best friends in high school. I have video, VHS cassettes of him DJing at my Sweet 16 party. Like, that's how I was doing it back then. House music for the Sweet 16. But yeah, so once I found Terrence, he was house music for me. So he was connected to other people who were DJing, and I didn't go to the clubs and that kind of thing, but I would get tapes from Terrence, and he had a radio show on a Southfield High School radio station that I would listen to and support. So I got the house music, but I never had some of the experiences that some of my peers had in the clubs. Some of the defunct clubs in the city that are like legendary. I never got a chance to attend those, but the music found me and I found the music.
And then tell us about how you partnered with Piranha Head. How did you guys meet and collaborate?
Piranha and I met out one evening, and he invited me to hear him play a reggae concert, and that was the beginning of our friendship. Our friendship morphed into a relationship. He started sharing the music that he was making with me, and I was just floored at his genius, his sound, his talent. So I started encouraging him to get his music out there, let people hear. Like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but somebody needs to hear this. That is how I ended up meeting DJ Minx. He and Minx were good friends. He invited me out one evening to hear her DJ. That's how I met her. She and I hit it off right off the bat. And eventually they paired up. They made music together. And after they made a record or two together, things just kind of fell into place where Find a Way was created. And that was how Piranha and I started with the music. I would watch him work with other artists, and I would always say something to him like, I wish you would write something for me to sing. I'm ready to sing. I'm ready to write. And our thing would always be, well, when the time is right, it'll happen. And one day he came up with the Find a Way melodies, and that's where we started.
Then tell us about how did you meet and collaborate with Louie Vega?
Louie has been a supporter of my music actually from all the way back at Find a Way, which was my first release, period. I remember meeting Louie at the Winter Music Conference the year that Find a Way came out, and him singing it to me and me thinking I was going to absolutely pass out. I'm like, this is Louie Vega. He's singing my song to me. Oh my gosh. Like he was playing it. And so that was just the beginning of our connection. I'm grateful to say that I have formed a bit of a friendship, a relationship with Louie. And I think it was something we kind of knew was going to happen eventually. It was another one of those kind of things where when the time was right, it would happen. And he came back to Detroit to play a few years ago at the festival, the Electronic Music Festival. And he told me he had something for me, sent it to me, and we got working with Everlasting Love. And that's how it came about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
just a matter of in due time. I listen, all things in due time.
Exactly. Don't force it, let it come to you.
That's right. That's right.
What is your approach to songwriting?
Most of the time, I just let my heart kind of speak, based on maybe the melody I'm feeling or the mood of the song. Lyrically, it's always heart driven, I'd say, in one way or another. Most of the time, I have the music first, and I create around the music. But there have been some times when I have come up with lyrics and melodies and things of that nature and shared them with whoever I'm working with at the time, and we've crafted around that. So I don't know that if I have one specific way of doing things. It's just a matter of however I'm led and however things start off.
And how do you know when the song is done?
That's hard sometimes. Oh gosh, I think you just feel it. It's another, you just feel it. It's just like, okay, that's enough. I've said what I need to say. I've added all the punctuation. I've added the adjectives. I've described this. I've added the little flourishes and I've crossed my T's and dotted my I's. There's nothing else I need to say. There's no other expression I need to give. That's it. And you just feel empty, like it's all that you needed to say has been said.
What advice would you give to your younger self if you were starting this all over again today? Or said differently, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently, if anything at all?
I would definitely trust myself more consistently.
What do you mean by that?
Every time I follow my intuition, my instinct, I don't go wrong. And there were times where I made some decisions that I was not necessarily maybe 100% okay with, but I kind of went along to get along. I think we all do that at some point in our lives. And so I've learned to, and this project has really given me an opportunity to really ask for what I want and make sure I'm getting what I want all across the board. Yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from this project.
I feel like there's another layer. I feel like there's another layer there, but I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay, well, I know. I mean,
whatever you're comfortable with sharing. And I get it. Some people are like, you know what? The past is the past. I'm starting fresh and let's just keep it classy. I get it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like this is not a fresh start, but a restart.
A reset.
Yeah, it's a reset. And it's a chance for me to just do some things differently. And I'm looking forward to that. It's a chance for me to show that I've grown. I'm looking forward to all of that.
How does it feel to be a Grammy nominated artist?
It's really cool to be able to say it. It like gets people's attention. It's a very much an honor to be able to say that. I am very aware of the privilege that goes along with that. I don't know that I really tap into it. It took me a long time to even start saying it, to be honest with you. So now that I've kind of stepped into it, it kind of feels good, I guess. Yeah. It's it's a distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who would you say are some of your biggest musical inspirations?
Oh gosh, we can go all over the place on this one. I lyrically, I really appreciate, I'm gonna say a lot of older, I really appreciate the storytelling of like Donald Fagen and Steely Dan and Chicago and the Doobie Brothers and um Bob Seger can tell a story like nobody else's business. Billy Joel and Elton John. I listen to a lot of I listen to a lot of different music, so it's tricky. Definitely Minnie Riperton and Shaka Khan. I listen to them. Big influences on me. Um, I'm blessed to have some people who I have looked up to vocally who are friends of mine as well. That's made it a really special experience to kind of get an inside look, see it on the inside and the outside. Friends like Carmen Rogers from the Foreign Exchange, who is very open with me and sharing her her knowledge and her understanding of things when it comes to the music business. My influences are wide. Um, Obviously you can hear some of those in my album as well. Like the Desiree connection is really strong for me, I feel, on this album. A lot of like naked music, lounge type things that I've been listening to over the years. You can span the gamut. I enjoy it all.
So that's actually a perfect segue into my next question. Tell us about your latest album and the creative process behind it.
Um, hmm. Well, we started with I'm the Best, and initially, I think we thought that would be maybe I think a single, and then we thought, well, okay, we can make this into an EP. We could do another couple songs and make it an EP. And then we just kind of it morphed into an album, which is a interesting story in itself because we had done some songs and gotten some things done before the pandemic. And then when the pandemic hit and everything kind of, shut down for a while, it gave me especially a chance to um, really grow and mature and change. And by the time we got back together to continue working on the album, we kind of pushed aside some of the things we had done, like even lyrically and things, and moved in a different direction. And I think that the pandemic made all the difference. So the creative process was really one of going with the flow and just striking while the iron was hot. Because I would go to Pennsylvania to record with Josh, I knew we had to maximize our time. So whatever we would talk about what song we were going to work on or what songs we were going to work on in advance. And I would be prepared with those. And then, of course, we'd knock those out and then we would try and tap into some other songs to kind of front load for the next session. So the process was one of ebb and flow, but more flow than ebb. It was pleasant. It was a lot of fun. But it was lengthy too because of the pandemic and because of the distance, because I teach and we have to try to work around my schedule. But I think everything just worked out the way it was supposed to work out. Everything worked out perfectly.
Of all the music in the world, why did you choose house?
I didn't choose house. I didn't choose house. I didn't choose anything. Do we ever choose, really? It chooses us. House chose me. I didn't choose house.
What do you think?
That's simple.
What do you think makes house music unique compared to other genres?
The heart. There's just something about the spirit in house music. And probably the only other music I can say that you have that same spirit, like from like jump, is gospel. Yeah. The just the energy, the feeling of it, just it's the feeling, it's the spirit, it's the heart that you feel before you hear a voice even in some of the songs. And the only, like I said, the only other genre I can think that can do that kind of thing right off the bat is gospel. That says a lot.
That's facts.
Yeah.
How has your musical style evolved over the years?
Oh gosh. This is like the evolution. There is nothing about this. There's very, 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 very little about this album, I think, that people would say, yeah, that's Divinity, that's her. What I've really enjoyed is going back and listening to some of my older work as I'm preparing for the release of the album. And what I hear is the definite maturity in my voice, but my spirit remains the same. I'm singing about the same things now, really, that I sang about then. And I don't think that's a bad thing because I'm singing from them in a different perspective. So it's not like you're hearing the same thing from me over and over again. Before, when you heard me singing about Find a Way, I'm trying to find a way to get to I'm the best. So just all of that evolution of those songs from I'm the way to I'm the best, that's my story, that's my journey. And the sound has matured right along with it as I've grown and matured. I think it would be tragic for me to sound the same, exactly the same. I'm 20 years in. Find a Way is like 20 years old. 20 years old. I would be doing myself and everybody who loves my music a disservice, I think, if I sounded exactly the same. So I'm proud of my evolution, and I'm proud of what you're going to hear on this album, the messages and the way it's delivered, the themes that it touches on. I'm thrilled about this evolution.
What have been some of your favorite performances of festivals to play at?
Oh, I really enjoyed the Tokyo Crossover Jazz Festival. I did that festival a couple of years with Shuya Okino and friends. That was a joy. I enjoyed Southport, even though I wasn't officially on the lineup. I went to have a good time like everybody else, and ended up on the stage with Carrie. So that was pretty cool with Carrie Chandler. I have enjoyed performing at Josh's event in Greece was magnificent right there on the beach. The Tribe and Timbre cruise, I was supposed to do that. The Josh's cruise as well. I've performed a House in the Park. Those have all been amazing. I get something different from every performance. The crowd gives something different. And so I'm able to give something different to them. So every performance is memorable in one way or another.
And how do you keep your voice in top condition when you're touring and traveling and performing regularly?
You know, I'm going to find that out. Surprisingly enough, I have not been touring and performing regularly. Most of my work has been studio work. So I am looking forward to getting on the road and having the experiences with wrapping my throat up and taking the teas and doing the sprays and all the things. Like I said, this is one of those times where I'm blessed to have people in my corner who know about that life and can help give me some tips and have already been sharing some things with me. So, I mean, I know how to, do vocal exercises and keep my throat warm and all of those kind of things. But I'm looking forward to testing out some other things as well.
And what advice do you have for aspiring singers and vocalists who want to follow in your footsteps?
Trust yourself. Back to that one. Trust yourself. You just, you know you better than anybody else. Even if you're still learning you know you better than anybody else does. So when you get that feeling that something is right or something is not right, listen to that. It means something, even if it just means sit with it a little bit longer. It may not mean yes, jump on it, or no, jump away from it. It may just mean sit and think and be still with it for a second, but it always means something. So listen to yourself, and trust your talents. Trust your talent. Don't stop questioning everything. And when you create, be ready to release. Don't hold on so tightly. Yeah.
How do you balance your creative vision with commercial success when making music?
Oh boy. That's very interesting because, from a house music perspective, what is commercial success? You can insert crickets in this. Because, if we're talking about it, very few have achieved that. And so I think if you need to be true to one or the other. It's almost like my teaching career. I didn't go into teaching to make money. Who does that? Who goes into teaching because they're going to get rich? Nobody. If that's why you're getting into music, that's probably so. Creative vision wins. And when you follow your creative vision, what I'm really learning right now, the way opportunities are falling in my lap, when you follow your creative vision, I don't know about the commercial success, but opportunities find their way to you that match what you are seeking. When you follow your creative vision and when you are in alignment with that and you are consistent and intentional with that, because you are trusting yourself and listening to your intuition. When you do that, doors open for you and you make opportunities where there may not necessarily be an opportunity.
Can you talk about any challenges or obstacles you faced in your career as a singer and how you overcame them?
I guess one of the biggest challenges for me is just the being confident in your talent, and knowing that you're not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. Everybody's not for everybody, but you are for somebody. And if you continue to, again, follow that creative vision, those people who are your people will find you and you will find them. That's just the law. That's just how it works. It'll all come together. So, yeah.
How do you stay inspired and motivated to create new music?
I really live the lyrics in these songs. I really try to be intentional, and those things you hear me think about are not just words that are written on the paper. Like, they are affirmations that I have said or am saying, or things that I've thought or experienced. And so when I talk about finding the joy in every day and looking for the little things and, finding a way to find a new day and find the light and all of those things, that's how I do it. You have to be, it's a job, it's work to keep you. There's so many things that could drag our hearts in the mud. The news, just so many things. It is a work of constant awareness to stay motivated and to stay positive. And we don't always stay there, but knowing that's the goal is good. So how do I do it? I work at it. I've had to work at it. I've been on the other side of that, and it doesn't feel very good. I like it over here a lot better. So I'm working to stay right here.
I love that. I love that. Tell us about the transition you made to becoming a DJ.
Oh man, well that was fun. So I've been doing a radio show for a couple of years called Little Bit Radio. It's named after my nonprofit organization, the Little Bit Project. And so it's on MixLR. And I just started playing. I love Josh's radio show. Josh has done a radio show for years on MixLR. And I would listen and I would always think about doing it. I did a couple of guest sets for him and I enjoyed it so much. And when I mentioned it to him, he was very encouraging. And I went on and started the radio show, just playing songs that I like, just songs that speak to me, whatever it may be. So that's how I kind of started with the selecting, and people were really impressed with my choices and my, I guess, knowledge of music and the range of genres that I was playing and song choice. And so one of my friends, Vincent Patricola here in Detroit, he asked me if I wanted to just play some music at a night that he had at a restaurant here in the city. And I was nervous, but I did it. And it's just so much fun. And I am all about sharing the joy of the music. I'm not worried about, four to the floor and perfect blends and keeping the dance floor full. That's cool if you're dancing, I'm loving it. But I'm about sharing the music that I love as well. So I love that I have stepped into doing some DJing, and it's given me a whole different perspective to share the music and to love the music. I'm loving it. I actually have a DJ gig coming up, my first out of town gig, so I'm really excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So those are the questions that I had. Is there anything that I didn't ask that'll help people better understand Divinity, or the new project you have coming out?
What did you think of the new project? Did you listen?
I've listened to part of it, not the whole thing. I like it. Don't ask me to recite you my favorite songs because I don't remember the song titles.
That's fine. What's your overall feeling though?
So I'm biased because I've been a Blaze fan forever. And to me, on the Mount Rushmore of house music, Josh Milan is there. So he can do no wrong in my book. Let's put it that way. So
agreed. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I would tell everybody to go out and get the album when it comes out in May. Tell everybody the name of the album.
The name of the album is In Due Time.
And how did you come up with that name?
I didn't. Do you see what I'm saying? This is my life. Like, I'm so serious. Mm-hmm. I thought I chose the title In Due Time. But that was before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And that was before so many other things happened that delayed or postponed or switched the trajectory, or so many different things. Even as we are preparing for the release, how things are lining up. I didn't choose that name. That name chose me. It's all in due time. Yeah, I didn't choose it. But that is the name of the album. The name of the album is In Due Time.
Perfect. And then for people that want to book you for live performances and for DJ gigs, what's the best way to reach you?
You can go to soon. My website is divinity.com. Or you can go to my social media pages. I'm on Facebook at Divinity. I'm on Instagram at Divinity. And I'm on Twitter at Divinity Divine, I believe. Yeah. And you can email me at info@thisisdivinity.com. For bookings, Tracy at mahoganymusic.com. But all of that's on my socials too.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Good night.